ほら、ルフィ、今一緒に海賊になる仲間を探してるんだ。
Hello guys, welcome to my channel The Wandering Zoro, your go-to destination for anime-related content. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. In today's video, we're going to be diving into part 1 of the series. So be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. You would think that having your mother be number 11 pro hero and having your stepfather be the number 1 hero and the symbol of peace would mean having a great life, right? Well, no. Or at least no if you were quirkless, because if you have a quirk, especially a mighty one, well, that's a different story. Izuku Midoriya, son of Titan and stepson of All Might. You would think this was great, but would think wrong. At one point, it used to be great, at least until that one day. Flashback. We see Izuku in a hospital room along with his mother and half-sister, Izumi Yagi, daughter of Toshinori Yagi and Inko Midoriya. They are about the same age. Inko. So tell me, Doc, what quirk do my children have? Doctor. Well, we have good news and bad news. Which you would like to hear first? Inko. The lousy news, please, said Inko, a bit nervous. Doctor. Well, it seems that your son sadly does not have a quirk. As you can see here, it shows he has an extra joint in the pinky toe, and according to many scientists, this is directly related to not having a quirk. Inko, oh, said a saddened Inko, while Izuku was just perplexed, having dropped his All Might figurine. And what is the good news? Doctor. Well, it seems that your daughter does have a quirk, and a potent one. To say the least, it seems it is a form of electrokinesis. It allows her to control and manipulate any form of energy, as well as to stockpile it inside herself and later release it. Inko, you heard that, Izumi. You can become a great hero. Izumi, I'll be the greatest of them all. Meanwhile, Izuku was just there, completely forgotten, and his dreams shattered. Later at the Yagi household. Toshinori. So tell me, how did the visit to the doctor go? Inko. Well, Izuku doesn't have a quirk, but that is to be expected from a premature. He was always sick and weak, but that is not important. Izumi has a quirk, and a mighty one. It allows her to. Meanwhile, watching all of this from the shadows of a corner of the house, was Izuku, hearing all of this, and how they completely dismissed him just for not having a quirk, just for not being like everybody else. Time skip to a few days later. At the Aldera kindergarten. Random Kid 1. Hey, have you heard? Izuku doesn't have a quirk. Random Kid 2. Yeah, he is what is called quirkless. Random Kid 3. My mom said they are like a disease. We should stay away from him. Random Kid 2. Yeah, he may infect us. Conversations like this were happening all over the place while Izuku was just there, not knowing what to do. Later at the playground. Izuku just sat alone, not knowing with who to be, but then 5 shadows lured above him. Izumi. Hey, Izuku, are you still planning on being a hero? Izuku. Yeah, more than anything. Suddenly an explosion collided with his face, making him fall down. Katsuki. Don't be silly, Deku. You would never be able to hang with the best of the best. Katsumi. Yeah, you would die? Shoto. You better leave that dream if you know what is right for you. Shoto, yeah? Well, my brother said. Izumi. So Izuku, do us a favor and don't be a hero. This was said as everyone used their quirk to intimidate him. If you know what is right for you. Flashback ends. Present day. We can see a classroom of 3rd year filled with middle schoolers, all of them about to graduate. All of them want to go the same path, the hero path. While many have the door open for going down this path, one's not so much, especially one green mop. Teacher, I'm supposed to give you this career assessment thing, but why bother? I know you all want to go down the hero path, said the teacher as he threw away all the papers. Kids, YAHHH, said most of the kids as they activated their quirks, except for 6 of them. Katsuki. Hey, teach, don't lump my group with this bunch of losers. We are the real deal. Teacher. Yes, the big 5. I have no doubts you will get into UA. Isn't there where you want to go? Katsumi. Right? It is. It is the only place that is good for us. Unlike you extras who will be lucky to end up as sidekicks. The class erupted into chaos as some students were angry they were being looked down upon, while some were praising the so-called Big 5. But suddenly, everyone went quiet. Teacher. Midoriya, you want to go to UA too, right? Everything calmed down, until an energy blast hit Midoriya in the face. Izumi, what is wrong with you? As she stood up, I think we have already told you multiple times to forget about being a hero. Izuku, wait, Izumi. It is just that it has always been my dream, and it would not hurt if I tried right. At this point, everyone was just laughing at him. Izumi, come on, you will die at the exam. Shoto, it is time to be real, don't you think, Deku? Shota, yeah, you shouldn't even try. Katsuki, after all, is not like someone so weak and useless. Katsumi, empathetic. Katsuki would be able to stand among us. This was just a typical day in the life of Izuku Midoriya. Ever since he was diagnosed quirkless, his parents neglected him in favor of training Izumi to be the next great hero and the symbol of peace. However, he didn't know the latter reason, as his parents didn't think it was necessary to tell him that Toshinori Yagi has, in reality, all might, nor the secrets of One for All. Meanwhile, at school, Izumi and her group of friends repeatedly tortured Izuku, trying to bully him out of the idea of being a hero in any way they could imagine, this being the reason of his scars and bruises. But his parents never noticed. Whenever he reached home, he was left alone. But this loneliness gave room for the flourishing of a great mind. Izuku had always been intelligent, well, more like extremely intelligent. Still, the knowledge and abilities he gained while confined in his room were on a whole new level, not that anyone noticed. After that whole fiasco in the classroom, and a burned book thrown away out the window later, Izuku was making his way home when suddenly he felt a presence behind him. He quickly turned around and saw a sludge thing making his way towards him, although looking backward. Izuku thought he may be a villain escaping from a hero or police, so he decided to try to stop him. He noticed his body has a liquid, so physical attacks may not work unless his eyes, they were physical. As the sludge approached him and began to turn his face, he was greeted by a backpack to the eye. Sludge, ugh, my iwai. Do you have any idea how much that hurts? But then another presence alerted them both. All Might, fear not, for I am here. Hexcss smash. By using the wind pressure of the punch, All Might ripped the villain into a billion parts, and just like that, it was over. All Might. Oh God, it's Izuku, what can I say? What can I say? Oh yes, well, that was a hazardous young man. But, thanks to you, I captured this evildoer. Let me give you an autograph as a way of saying thank you. Izuku. Oh my God, it's All Might. Yes sir, please, here I have a book and a pen somewhere. Oh my God, thank you, I will treasure this for my whole life. Meanwhile, All Might just give him a thumbs up while a drop of sweat has on the back of his head. All Might. Well, goodbye, young man. He quickly disappeared and reappeared, this time with some bottles that had a green liquid in them. I need to get this bad guy to the police. Remember to stay safe. Izuku. Wait, All Might, before you go. I do not have a quirk, but it is my dream to be a hero and save people with a fearless smile like you. And so I wanted to ask you, is it possible to be a hero without a quirk? All Might. No, sorry kid, but we pros risk our life daily. Some villains just can't be beaten without a quirk. It is not wrong to dream, but make sure they are realistic, as it is not possible to be a hero without a quirk. I am sorry, Izuku, but it is the best thing for your safety. Izuku, I see. All Might. Well, if that is all, I will take my leave. Goodbye, young man. He then proceeded to do a big jump and land at the top of a building. He began to cough badly and steam until he deflated. Toshinori. Well, that was a close one. I am sorry, Izuku, but we can't put you in danger. Now to bring this guy to the Pollock. Wait. It's not here. Argot must have fallen. I must go search for it. Back with Izuku. Izuku was left on the verge of tears. Being rejected by your idol was hard. Izuku. You always knew it, right? You were just avoiding reality. Izuku began to make his way back to his house. He was sure Izumi would be happy to hear he would no longer apply to UA. Oh, how much he envies her, and also hated her. She was the complete opposite of him. She had friends, was loved by her parents, and had a wonderful quirk. Now he needed to know what to do with his life. As he was involved in thought, he did not notice he entered an alleyway, and also did not notice the sludge monster with a face that radiated pure rage behind him until it was too late. Sludge. Well, if it isn't the child who almost made me get caught by All Might. Oh, how much I am going to enjoy this. He said this with a face that radiated the purest hate and anger. Izuku, it's you, he said with a trembling voice and body. What are you going to do to me? Sludge. Oh, nothing. Just enter your mouth and nose and rip you apart from the inside. Izuku was quick to cover his mouth and nose with his right hand while he tried to punch the sludge in the eye again with his backpack, but the sludge dodged. Sludge, that's not going to work again, kid. He quickly trapped Izuku in his sludge. Sludge, let's make this as painful as possible, shall we? The sludge monster quickly tied a tentacle of his to Izuku's arm and began to pull from it to try and uncover his mouth. Sludge, you are making this much harder than it needs to be. The sludge pulled and twisted with all his strength, and in a single movement, Izuku's arm was no longer part of his body. A throat-hurting scream was heard, leaving Izuku's mouth. He began screaming for help at the top of his lungs for a good 5 minutes, but nobody came. Fluid spilled everywhere from the hole in which his arm was supposed to be attached. The sludge threw Izuku's arm away. Sludge, let's end this, shall we? The sludge began making his way to Izuku's mouth and nose and began to enter. Izuku could only feel as his lungs began to fill with a goo-like substance, and how his windpipe was being destroyed from the inside out, as well as the rest of his respiratory system. Izuku, is this the end? Am I going to die like this? Where are the heroes? Where's All Might? He had captured him before, right? Where is he now? Where are the heroes? Everything began to turn black. He tried to keep himself conscious the best he could, but the pain of his respiratory system being destroyed, as well as not being able to breathe, was beginning to take a toll on him. Just as he was about to give up, he heard a blast, then calm. The sludge was out, but the damage was done. The pain didn't go away. He heard steps coming closer and tried to open his eyes. He saw a figure who then spoke. Unknown person. It must be hard to call for help and for no one to come. It must be hard to know that even though there are tons of heroes, no one came to help. Isn't that right, Izuku Midoriya? But have no fear, for I am here. Izumi Yagi was walking back home from school. This time she hadn't gone back with his brother. She was furious at him. Izumi. That idiot, what is he thinking? He can't be a hero. It is too dangerous even for someone with a quirk. Although she bullied him, she really loved him more than anything else. Izumi just wanted to make sure he was safe, but she began to wonder, was this the right way to do it? She still remembers when she came up with this plan of hers to take care of her brother. Flashback. We see a 4-year-old Izumi along with her friends Katsumi and Katsuki Bakugo and Shoto Todoroki. Izumi. So my brother doesn't have a quirk, and I am anxious for him. Shota. And why is that? Izumi. Well, last night I was watching a video where a villain defeated a hero and left him extremely injured even though he had a powerful quirk, so I was wondering if even such a hero could get so injured. What would happen to my Anai-san if he became a hero and doesn't have a quirk? She said, almost crying, I don't want my Anai-san to get hurt like that or die. Katsuki. Well, I also don't want him to die, but what can we do? Shoto. Well, we can intimidate him with our quirks. If we show him he doesn't stand a chance against people with powers, he could stop dreaming about being a hero. Izumi. What? I don't want to hurt him. Katsumi. But think about it, we should do it rather than a villain. It is all to keep him safe. Izumi. Guess you are right. I am doing this for you. Izuku. Okay, then let's do this for Izuku. The rest of them, for Izuku. Flashback ends. Izumi keeps walking, thinking about her brother. Maybe she has been too rude with him. Izumi. I am sorry, Izuku. I have been such a horrible sister. Today I will apologize to you, and hopefully, we can be the happy siblings we once were. But she never could. Izumi reached her house, opened the door, and greeted her mother. She didn't see her father, so she guessed he must be doing hero work. She went to her room and plumbed on the bed, thinking about how to apologize to her brother. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, All Might have been wondering where the bottle could have been. It was already late, and his time limit was almost over. So he decided it may be the best thing to do was to come back home. But when he was about to go, he received a call. Naomesa. Toshi, are you there? Toshinori. I am. What's wrong, Naomesa? Naomesa, we found something disturbing near the outskirts of the city. We think it may be related to that sludge monster you were chasing earlier. Toshinori, send me the location. I am coming as soon as possible. Time skip 5 minutes. In an alley near the outskirts of the city, Naomasa had seen a lot of things in his career, but this was by far a strange and disturbing scene you don't see every day. There was a giant hole on a wall, some pieces of sludge all over the place, one massive lake of crimson fluid, and a severed arm on the ground. One might think someone just exploded, but there was no fire nor crater on the floor, so what could have happened here? All Might, I am here. TOC what hap? All Might didn't get to finish the sentence as the smell of vital fluid entered his nose, almost making him puke right there. He was not prepared for this. All Might, what happened here? He said as he turned to Naomasa. Naomasa, we are trying to figure that out. It is not like you see every day a bunch of goo splattered on the ground, along with fluids and an arm. Oh yeah, and let's no forget that hole on the wall. All Might frowned. All Might, have you identified who the blood and the arm belong to? Naomasa, no, but we are almost sure they belong to the same person. Whoever it is must have had their arm forcefully detached. All Might, poor person, I am sorry I couldn't be there to save you. All Might scolded himself. Naomasa, Toshi, you had contact with that sludge monster before, right? Can you confirm if this was the kind of sludge it was made of? Naomasa pointed at the pieces of sludge all over the place. All Might went around touching and smelling the sludge. When he was finished, he said, All Might, yes, this is definitely the sludge monster's sludge. Naomasa, I see then my theory is confirmed. All Might, which theory? Naomasa, after the sludge monster escaped from you, he must have searched for someone to attack. Whoever he chose must have been the person all this blood belongs to. That person must have fought back, but in the end, the sludge monster must have ripped out their arm and won the battle. He must have then escaped along with the body. Although that doesn't explain the giant hole, it could have been made by the sludge during its escape. All Might scold himself. All Might, I am sorry whoever you were. I am sorry to have caused this and not be able to help you. I am so pathetic. Naomasa and All Might stood around, waiting for the DNA tests to tell them who the victim was. After a good 10 minutes, a police officer went and handed Naomasa a folder. When he read it, he paled and paled hard. After all, how could you not when you knew this person? All Might took notice and got worried. All Might, what's wrong, Naomasa? Naomasa, All Might. Naomasa, are you okay? Shaking him a bit. Naomasa, oh, sorry, what was your question? All Might, what's wrong? Who was this person? Naomasa, oh, well, it says it was a 14-year-old student named Izuku Midoriya. All Might. Naomasa, you okay, Toshi? All Might. Ha, that was a good one. I almost fell for it. Naomasa, I am not kidding. Read yourself, as he handed him the document. There when All Might saw it was the picture of his stepson, who, despite not talking too much to, he loved him and would protect him from everything. It all matched according to the document, the DNA blood, as well as the fingerprints of his severed arm. All Might could not understand how this happened, but then it clicked. When he lost the sludge monster, it was released, and it must have been angry, so it tracked down Midoriya and took his life for being in the way. All Might. Why I am so pathetic. I am sorry, Izuku, sorry for failing to be your hero. All Might fell to his knees and punched the ground, hard. Meanwhile, from his mouth, only one word was emitted. All Might, no? Time skip. A few hours later, near the Yagi household, Toshinori was seated on a passenger seat of Naomasa's car, waiting to reach his house. In his mind, the image of Midoriya being murdered while he asked for help wouldn't leave him alone, mainly because it was his fault. Still, now there was a much more pressuring matter. How will he tell this to Inko? Finally, they arrived. Toshinori opened the door and entered, Naomasa behind him. Izumi and Inko were in the living room. They had been worried about him, but they figured he must have been with Toshinori. Izumi was still thinking about how to apologize. Meanwhile, Inko had been thinking about the last few years and how she had neglected her son. Inko, I haven't been the greatest of mothers, have I? Starting today, I will make amends and be the mother I haven't been. When they heard the door open, they were both excited, thinking it would be Izuku. Still, all they saw was Toshinori along with Naomasa. They both stood there watching both ladies. The Naomasa was the one who spoke. Naomasa, we have some bad news to tell you both. Time skip. Izumi was on her bed crying. She had never been this sad in her life. She couldn't accept that he was gone. It was a lot to take in. Now she would never be able to apologize to him. Izumi, after everything I did to protect him, he still died. I am sorry, Izuku. I am sorry I failed you. And with that thought, she finally went to sleep. Inko, on the other hand, was on the sofa crying in her husband's chest. She did not want to believe her firstborn, the child that gave light to her life when Hisashi left them, and who she had neglected for so long, was gone. She couldn't hold her tears and cried until the tears couldn't come out any longer, and she fell asleep. Toshinori had kept a severe expression. He couldn't believe all of this was his fault. He let out a few lonely tears, but then he kept crying. He cried for failing to be his hero, and for the last thing he had told him, "You can't become a hero." What is left of his stomach fell when he thought that Izuku spent his last moments in pain, and because of him, at an unknown location. Beep, beep, beep. A small teenager woke up on a bed, extremely agitated. He couldn't open his eyes yet. He felt strange. He felt something inside of him. Something metal? The sensation started in his nose and ended in his chest, where his lungs are. He tried to scratch his eyes with his hands, but he only held one arm. Finally, he opened his eyes. He saw himself in a bed with a bunch of cables sticking out of him. He saw a monitor that displayed his vitals. Izuku, am I in a hospital? No, this doesn't look like a hospital room. He then saw what seemed like 2 tubes sticking out of his nose. He noticed they were connected to a giant machine that pumped oxygen from a massive tank. They were helping him breathe. Izuku, where am I? What happened? He then began to remember everything that happened that day. Izumi and her friends bullying him, his meeting with All Might, and finally the sludge. But he also remembered a figure, a voice of a man. He then remembered what that figure told him. Izuku, who was he? How did he know his name? Soon a door opened. It revealed a tall, well-built man in a suit. He was also wearing what seemed as an industrial mask. Unknown person. Oh, so you finally woke up. I was beginning to worry. Izuku, who are you? Where am I? How do you know my name? Unknown person. I will answer them in reversed order. First, I know your name because I have been watching you for quite some time. Second, you are in my hideout. That sludge thing almost killed you. All of these machines are keeping you alive. Lastly, I go by many names, but I am often referred to as All for One. Izuku, All for One. I have heard about you. You ruled the underworld before All Might appeared. I thought they were just rumors, but it seems they are right. AFO. That is correct. Haha. Looks like you know your stuff. You are more intelligent than I imagined, boy. You are a rare gem. Izuku. And may I ask, what does someone as you want with someone like me? AFO. I want you to join me, Izuku. I have seen you are brilliant. My organization could use a mind like yours. Izuku, but why me? I don't have a quirk. AFO. That makes it even better. Ha ha ha. You are what my organization needs, real talent. Izuku. But I want to be a hero. AFO. People out there will never accept you. They only see quirks. And you know that your family is an example. But here we don't. I don't. I value talent more than anything. That is why I need you. They had their chance of letting you help them and didn't appreciate it. So please give it a try with us. I believe you are destined for greatness, Izuku. Let me help you reach that greatness. And in exchange, you will help me as well. Izuku. Really? You believe in me? On the verge of tears. AFO? Yes, he said as he got closer to Izuku. I believe in you. Those words were all Izuku had been wanting to hear all his life, and finally, they were said. Izuku couldn't hold it any longer. He cried, and even hugged All for One. All for One wouldn't usually let this happen. But, in the inside, he was also delighted. Behind his mask, he had the biggest grin he had ever made. Izuku. Thank you, Sensei. I will not let you down. Izuku, though crying, was extremely happy. Finally, a chance had come for him to prove himself. He wouldn't let his sensei down. The idea of being a villain also no longer seemed so wrong on Izuku's mind. He could finally get revenge on all of those who had wronged him and show them indeed what he was capable of. His thoughts were interrupted by the voice of his sensei. AFO. So now that you are a villain, you can't go by that name anymore. Izuku. So what will I be called then? AFO thought for a second. AFO. To be honest, I like Izuku, hehe, but Midoriya doesn't fit you anymore. From now on, you will be Izuku Shigaraki. Izuku. I like it, but why Shigaraki? AFO. Oh, That is simple, it's my last name. Izuku was surprised, to say the least. This man had not only taken him under his wing, but also pretty much adopted him as his own. Izuku. Thank you, Sensei. I will carry this name with honor. All for One was pleased with this. AFO. Well, Izuku, you better rest now. Recover so that you can perform your job as soon as possible. Izuku. Yes, Sensei. But, what kind of job will I be doing? AFO. We need you to lead our R&D department as well as helping with some experiments. Nothing that is complicated for you. As I am aware you have quite the talent for mechanics, chemistry, and biology. With this, All for One left. Izuku couldn't still believe it. It was too good to be real. But before he could continue, the door opened again. Unknown person. So you are who Sensei has been talking about so much. Izuku. And who could you be? Unknown person. The name is Nana Shigaraki. Izuku was surprised by this, but he figured he was no sensei's only apprentice, nor who was the first to be adopted. Nana, and who are you? Izuku. My name is Izuku Shigaraki, he said with confidence. Nana, Shigaraki, huh? So sensei must have taken a great interest in you as well. He did say you were brilliant. Izuku. Yeah, I guess. And why did sensei name you Shigaraki? Nana. Simple. I am his heir. Izuku was surprised. Why did the sensei need an heir? Izuku. Why does sensei need an heir? Nana. Simple. He was too injured after his fight with All Might, so he needs someone to take over after he is no longer able to fight. Izuku. TCH, All Might. Always ruining everything. Nana. Wait, you don't like All Might? Izuku. Of course not. He is the reason I am like this now. Nana. Oh yeah. I was about to ask what happened to you, so All Might did it to you? Izuku. Well, not directly, but he is at fault without a doubt. If only he hadn't let that thing escape. Nana. So you hate him? Izuku. A lot. Not as much as my sister, though. She is something different. But yes, I do hate him, and I can't wait to enact my revenge on him and everyone who wronged me and make them suffer. Nana. Oh, Izuku, I think we are going to get along quite well. Time skip. At the cemetery. Izuku's funeral went well, though it was terrible to only be able to bury his severed arm, as that was all that was apparently left of him. Many pro-heroes came to give their condolences to the Yagis. Izumi's friend also came to comfort her. They knew he valued him, and even those who didn't know still knew losing a brother was hard. Izumi was apart speaking with his best friend, Shota. Shota, I still can't believe he is gone, she said while crying. Izumi. Neither can I. She has her eyes red. She had already cried a lot before. Silence invaded the area until Izumi spoke again. Izumi, you liked him, didn't you? Shota, what makes you say that? Izumi, you were always the one who treated him the kindest. Never once you came up with an insult to hurt him. Shota, was I so obvious? Izumi, very, she chuckled a little. Shota, now, I will never be able to tell him I liked him for all these years. Izumi, neither will I be able to apologize. Silence again. Shota, what are you going to do now? Izumi, train hard. I will become the best hero ever. The hero Izuku would have wanted me to be, and not met this happen to anyone else, she said with her eyes full of determination. Shota nodded. Shota, I will become a great hero. You don't have to fight alone. With this, the two friends made the promise to be the greatest of heroes, all of this for Izuku. Time skipped 2 weeks. Izuku had been getting a bit better, having gained a bit more of his force. He still was annoyed by all of the cables stuck to the machines keeping him alive, but he was growing more accustomed to them. Over the last 2 weeks, his relationship with Nana had improved. She came to his room every day and talked to him. All for One was quite pleased seeing them grow closer. All for One had decided it was time to put Izuku's mind to work. All for One entered Izuku's room. AFO, I believe you are healthy enough to work now. Izuku, yes, sensei. I will do what you order me. AFO, all right. The first project for you will be the development of a way to kill All Might. Izuku widened his eyes. He was not expecting this to be his first job. AFO, something wrong? Izuku, no, nothing. It just caught me off guard, haha. AFO, well, if you can't do it, don't war. Izuku, no. Yes, of course, I will not let you down. AFO, that is what I like. AFO left Izuku so he could concentrate. Izuku, so kill All Might, huh? Wonder how will I do it? Time skip. Izuku had spent all of 1 week working on the way to defeat him, and after much wondering, came up with a project. A genetically modified human capable of sustaining lots of quirks. The idea was for AFO to give this GMH a bunch of quirks that combined could equal All Might. Between these quirks were 3 layers of super speed, 3 layers of super strength, 2 layers of super regeneration, 1 shock absorption. The only drawback was the person became a mindless monster, though Izuku was sure that could be fixed. Finally, Izuku called All for One. AFO, do you have something to show me? Izuku. Yes, here I present you, Project Nomu. All for One was extremely pleased with Izuku's project. To imagine All Might being crushed by a Nomu was undoubtedly amusing. AFO. Ha ha ha, it has been years since I have felt like this. Oh Izuku, you don't know how happy you have made me. Izuku, it was nothing sensei, I just did my job the best I could. AFO. Oh, and you did a good child. I think I will reward you for this fantastic job. Izuku. Thank you, sensei. I am extremely honored. After thinking a bit, All for One spoke again. AFO. As a reward, I will allow you to build any personal project you want. Just tell me what you need, and I will provide it to you. Izuku. Thank you, sensei. I will let you know if I need anything. With that, All for One left. Izuku began to think about what he could work on. He wanted to fix the state of his body, as being strapped to a bed with a bunch of machines and cables was not going to do it, but he knew he needed to go little by little. Just as he finished deciding what to do, Nana busted the door open. Nana, I heard you gave Sensei a way to defeat All Might. Izuku, indeed. Nana, will it do the trick? Izuku, I say that in the first phase, it has a 60% chance of defeating All Might if we use him correctly. Meanwhile, in the second phase, it has a 95% chance of killing him. Nana, fantastic. I can't wait to use our little toy with All Might and finally erase that smile from his face, as well as the rest of the heroes. Izuku, I have to agree, I am excited as well. Nana, Sensei told me he rewarded you by allowing you to build your own project. What will you do? Izuku, well, I want to fix myself as soon as possible, but I will start little by little. First, I will begin building a mechanic prosthesis to replace my missing arm. This way, I will also be able to do my work faster. Nana, I see, good luck with that. See you later, Izu. Izuku. Yeah, see you later. Did she just call me Izu? Nana, did I just call him Izu? What the hell is wrong with me? Izuku gave his request quickly to All for One, who seemed supportive of the idea of Izuku rebuilding his arm. The next day, Izuku received the necessary pieces and began to work. Meanwhile, at the Yagi household, Izumi was finally free from school. Yesterday had been her last day. She couldn't be more excited. True, she wouldn't be able to see her friends as much, but they all made a pledge to reunite in UA High School. Now Izumi was thinking about her new goal, to enter the heroics course and start her journey to become a hero and save everybody to prevent what happened to Izuku to happen to anyone else. She saddened thinking about her dead brother, but she quickly enlightened herself by thinking her brother wouldn't want her to be sad. As these last thoughts were crossing her mind, she heard her parents call her to the living room. Izumi quickly stood up from her bed and went to where her parents were. As she entered the living room, she saw them both with serious expressions on their faces. Tashinori, take a seat, he said as he signaled the sofa in front of them. Izumi did as she was told. Tashinori, tell me, Izumi, are you still planning on becoming a hero? Izumi, of course, more than anything. Tashinori, and what kind of hero do you want to be? She thought this for a while, then she answered. Izumi, I want to be the best hero. I wish to save everyone with a smile on my face, just like you, Dad. I want to protect everyone like a mother, just like you, Mom. I want to be the hero Izuku would have admired and also be the hero that would not let the tragedy that happened before happens again, she said as her eyes were glowing with determination. Both of her parents, though a bit sad due to remembering their failure to protect Izuku, were extremely happy to hear their daughter's answer and couldn't help but smile. Izumi noticed this. Izumi, what's wrong? Inko. Oh, nothing. We just are delighted to hear you say that. Tashinori. Indeed, you have the heart of a true hero. Inko. Well, Toshi, I think we can agree she is the correct one then. Tashinori. Indeed. Izumi, correct one? Tashinori nodded. Tashinori. You are the correct one to inherit my quirk. We wanted to make sure you had only the best intentions before giving it to you, though. Izumi, wait, Dad. Don't you think it is still too early for you to retire? All Might. I will not retire right away. I will still keep some power for a while. But listen, Izumi, my working hours are growing extremely limited, and I think it is proven that I can no longer save everybody. It is only a question of time until I am no longer able to work as a hero, and as a result, I will not be able to be the symbol of peace anymore. Society needs its symbol of peace. That is why I want to give it to you now, so that you start training, and when my time ends, you can take my place. So, tell me, do you accept my girl? Izumi began to think it was quite a bit to take in, but in the end, she convinced herself. Izumi, if I am going to become the greatest of heroes, I am going to need more power. Izumi, I accept, Dad, but are you sure I can even use your power? Inko, of course. That is why we have also been training you. Toshinori, indeed, all of those strength routines were to prepare your body. One for all is all of the strength of the previous holders mixed into a hurricane of force, so you need to have a trained body to be able to handle it. You already have quite a trained body, so yes, you will be able to take it, though just a small portion of it. That is why I will teach you for you to be prepared. Did you want to go to UA still? Well, then we are going to have to work a lot. Izumi, okay then. When do we start? Toshinori, right now, he said as he transformed into his battle form. All Might. My girl, it is my pleasure to transfer my power to you, so that you can be the 9th holder of One for All. Now eat this, he said as he took a strand of his hair and gave it to Izumi. Izumi just stood there, her eyes wide as a plate, and also with a confused look on her eyes. 3 days later, at All for One's hideout, Izuku was excited. Finally, his prosthetic arm was done. He could feel a bit whole again. However, it was challenging to install his arm. It took the combined efforts of All for One and Nana to finally get it done. AFO, I see you are quite happy with your new arm. Izuku, yes, Sensei, a step closer to finally being complete again. AFO, indeed. Izuku, Sensei, how is the development of Nomus going on? AFO, oh, it is going quite well. The toxin formula you created to alter the human DNA for it to be able to resist more than one quirk in their body is perfect. However, being pretty much brain dead is true quite the downside. Izuku, I can work to fix that. AFO, later, right now, I am more worried that our first experiments will be discovered, so I need you to develop a security system that we can use to protect our privacy. Izuku, as you wish, Sensei. I will let you know later the materials I will be needing. With this, Izuku began to make plans again. He was starting to get accustomed to this, just another day in his new life. Izuku had spent a lot of days making the perfect security system. No holes, it was just perfect. There were cameras, motion sensors, heat sensors, and he even developed quirk sensors. There was no way to get around it. Izuku even developed an intelligent AI that would help run the different devices. The AI was connected to some glasses from which Izuku could access all of its functions. He named it Deku as a way to throw back at those who said he couldn't do anything. All for One was pleased with this. He had to admit Izuku kept going beyond his expectations. Meanwhile, the Nomu project was developing quite well. The first normal Nomu had been successfully developed. Now they were going to create the Super Nomu, the one capable of killing All Might. However, All for One noticed Izuku still didn't seem entirely sure about the idea of killing All Might. Hurting him, sure, but not killing him. All for One aimed to change this. All for One went to Izuku's room. AFO, how are you, child? Izuku, as good as I can be. What brings you here, Sensei? You have another project for me. I am getting quite bored. AFO, not entirely. I am here to tell you something. Tell me, do you still hate your family? Izuku, yeah, how couldn't I? But why do you ask? AFO smirked behind his mask. After all, how he couldn't? This was going to be good. AFO, oh well, is that I just discovered something my spies provided me about your family, and I think you deserve to know. Izuku's curiosity piqued at this. Izuku, something about them? What is it? AFO, tell me, Izuku, do you know what the job of your stepfather is? Izuku, well, of course, he is a real estate agent in Tokyo. AFO, well, not exactly. Izuku was confused at this. Izuku, what do you mean? AFO, tell me, Don't you think it is weird that your mother, a pro hero, married an ordinary statesman? Izuku thought about it. It made some sense, but if his father wasn't a statesman, then what was his job? Then realization struck him. Izuku, are you saying he is also a pro hero? AFO, looks like you figured it out, but he is not any hero. He is the hero, the one you hate the most. Izuku, wait, you are saying my stepdad is All Might? That doesn't make any sense. AFO, think about it for a second. Izuku thought, and that is when he started to make the connections. Blonde hair, blue eyes, about the same height and similar voice. Make him buff, and you got All Might. Izuku was shocked at this. Izuku, how? Why would he do this to me? He said while on the verge of tears. AFO, isn't it obvious? So your sister could be the next great hero. After all, her quirk and his quirk combined are a potent combination. Izuku, what do you mean, his and her quirk combined? AFO, let me tell you a story, Izuku. All for One proceeded to tell Izuku about how he began his journey when quirks first appeared and also about his brother. He told him about One for All and how it came to be. He told him how All Might came to be the 8th holder and how he was quirkless before that, and also how now his sister was the new holder. Izuku was processing all of this, and when he finished, he couldn't help but cry. Izuku, that monster, he used to be like me. What a hypocrite. And all just so my sister could take all of the spotlights. He knew I wanted to be a hero more than anything, and he could have helped me reach my dreams. AFO, but he didn't. Izuku kept crying, but now out of rage, pure rage towards All Might and Izumi. That is when he decided something. Izuku, I will make them pay. I won't live them. No, that would be too good. They will suffer what I have lived. They will know how I feel. I will break them. All for One wasn't expecting that, but it was close enough to what he wanted to achieve. Izuku was thinking, then he decided to speak. Izuku, Sensei, I know this may be too much to ask, but can you please provide me the needed resources for some other projects of mine? AFO, and what are those projects for? Izuku, I want to finish my reconstruction and also improve myself. That will allow me to stand in front of All Might and Izumi, and finally take vengeance with my own hands. AFO couldn't help but smile. AFO, very well, just tell me what you need, and I will provide it to you. Izuku, thank you, Sensei. Meanwhile, at Dagoba Beach, Izumi was taken there to clean. The beach was full of trash. Toshinori was at the side, when suddenly he had a strange feeling in his gut, at least what was left of it. Toshinori, I feel like something bad is coming. He quickly ignored the feeling as he saw Izumi fall to the ground, exhausted. Izumi, this is so tiring. Remind why I am doing this again. Toshinori, to use One for All in a greater capacity, you need a very well-trained body, or else your body won't be able to handle it. You will break your bones every time you use it. Izumi gulped at imagining that. Izumi, but why here? You know we could go to a gym, right? Toshinori, yes, but there is also a lesson to be learned here. You see, in the beginning, being a hero meant to do the risky things nobody else would, such as community work. We can't stray from those roots. This beach used to be extremely appealing, but people kept illegally dumping trash here. As a result, it ended up like this. Your job is to clean this beach before high school starts. You have 9 months until that. You will also have to follow my American Dream plan I gave you earlier. Izumi, oh, I understand. This is like an intense gym workout, and you are my trainer. Toshinori, now you are getting it. Come on, stand up. There is no time to waste. I also have to teach you to dominate One for All. You want to be the most incredible hero, right? Then work to be that. You will have to work twice. No thrice as hard. Are you ready? Izumi, yes, Dad-sensei. Izumi quickly stood up and continued with her routine. Toshinori, well, keep working. I have a feeling something is coming. Something bad. I need you to be prepared. And so for Izuku and Izumi began 9 months of hell. Izumi worked as hard as she could, while Izuku thought as hard as he could, bringing his mind to his limits while Izumi her body. Izuku was quick in developing his projects. First, he was able to create a set of different machines and robots that could help him in the creation of his future projects. All of them were connected to Deku. After finishing his robots, he asked All for One how badly his respiratory system was damaged. Let's just say it was a lot of damage. His windpipe has destroyed, and his lungs barely worked. He also lived on a dose of serum as he couldn't eat as well. So he began drawing plans to fix that. He was able to, after some complications, develop an artificial internal respiratory system, which his robots helped to the implant. All of that was connected to a mask with little pumps. These helped to pump in oxygen through the tubes. It also provided Izuku with a serum to give him the necessary minerals, proteins, and the other things he couldn't get from food anymore. Finally, he was free from his bed. He could move again, though it took him some time to be able to walk correctly. All for One was happy Izuku could walk around freely since now he could go and do a part of his job. Izuku was walking around in his room when All for One entered. AFO. Ah, I see you can walk better now. Izuku. Yes, Sensei, what brings you here? AFO. Oh well, I wanted to ask you to do another part of your job. You see, the day I found you, I also found this, he said as he held up a burnt notebook. Izuku was surprised. It had been months since he had seen that notebook burnt by his friend Bakugo, or Kakin as he used to call him. AFO. You see, I was impressed by your analytical ability. I was going to ask if you could go around and spy on the heroes and take notes on them, weaknesses, and ways to beat them. Izuku. I would be pleased to. AFO. Good, now follow me. All for One guided Izuku out of his room and into a hallway with other places. Now that Izuku thought about it, he had never come out of his room. All for One opened the door to what looked like a bar. All for One entered, and Izuku followed. When he entered, he saw Nana on a couch who waved at him. He also saw what seemed like a person of black mist. AFO, Izuku, meet Kurogiri. Kurogiri. So you are who I have been hearing about so much. I am Kurogiri, the League's Warper. Izuku. Hello, I am Izuku Shigaraki, apprentice of All for One. And what did you mean by League's Warper? All for One. Oh, I must have forgotten to tell you. The name of my organization is the League of Villains. Kurogiri. Yes, and my quirk is Warp. Izuku. I see, so I guess he will be the one taking me to my destinations. All for One. Indeed. Izuku. Well, Kurogiri, hope we work and get along well. Kurogiri. I hope so too. From that day on, Kurogiri would always transport Izuku to different parts of Japan to watch over the heroes and analyze them. He was pretty impressed by some, but some not so much. While researching them, he understood he needed power, but since Izuku hadn't been born with one, he decided to create it. First, he decides to create a toxin that would enhance his body. He spent day and night creating different formulas, and after a few days, he had finally made it, one that would work. He injected it, and the transformation was almost immediate, though excruciating. When he was done, he now had a body that looked like the one of a bodybuilder. The toxin gave him as much strength and speed as a human can get without becoming super, which Izuku found out was quite a lot. He also now had better senses and reflexes. Izuku knew this wouldn't be enough to beat some heroes. So he began his second project. He decided it was time to update his prosthetic arm into something better. He asked All for One if he could study some quirks he had, such as impact nullification, shock absorption, shock release, multiplier, and electrokinesis. The electrokinesis of All for One is not as powerful as the one of Izumi. After studying the quirks, he began to build an arm that could replicate in some capacity those quirks. After all, abnormalities were not magic, they were science, so it could be copied. After a full month of trying and failing, he had finally done it. The arm was made of an alloy of titanium, steel, and obsidian. It could accurately replicate impact nullification as well as shock absorption and release. However, this was limited to his arm only. He also had copied electrokinesis. He could use it to discharge it on an enemy, create a shield barrier. He could again charge his arm or any other part of his body to give him more strength, speed, and resistance. While it was being installed by the machines, he was proud and excited after thinking about everything he could do. To think this was all done by a quirkless boy who only had his mind to back him up. During this time, he also developed his hacker skills. He spied on the government to see if they had any leads to what the Elov was doing. Needless to say, Izuku had developed his mind to another level, being able to create incredible feats. Izumi had developed her power too. She could use 12% of One for All. Thanks to her father's help and thanks to her original quirk, Electro, which gave her resistance. She had also worked to merge One for All and Electro, which combined could now equal All Might when he uses 25% of his power. It was only time to see who would win, Izumi's might or Izuku's mind. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity for Izumi, the 9 months that she had to wait until the UA entrance exam was over and the time had come. So now she had to go and deal with her first obstacle. She had trained like mad for this moment, and now she was thrilled. Her progress had been significant. She finished cleaning the beach 1 month earlier, so she had spent all her time training her 2 quirks. Now she could control 15% of One for All, and combined with her Electro quirk, she could equal her power to All Might's 30%. She and her friends decided to meet over at the entrance of UA to be able to enter together. Izumi was now going there, though she was running a bit late. When she finally got there, she saw her 4 friends talking. That is when she called them out. Izumi, guys, I am here. All 4 of them turned to look at her, and they almost didn't recognize her. After she had changed a lot, her body was now the one of a young woman, and you could see she was too fit and toned. Bakugo and Todoroki even blushed a bit at seeing her. After all, she was already pretty, but now, oh boy, while Katsumi and Shoto were just impressed. Izumi finally reached where her friends were and noticed they were staring at her. Izumi, what is wrong, guys? Something in my face. Katsumi, wow, girl, what kind of exercises you did? Shota, yeah, I don't remember you being so fit. Izumi was flustered by their comments. Izumi, it's nothing. My dad just put me to do a few workouts. Katsumi, a few workouts. There is no way you got that figure with just a few exercises. Izumi was too embarrassed at this point, her whole face red. Shota, Katsumi, you shouldn't say comments like those. Katsumi, what it is true. Now you will get all the boys' attention. Izumi, what? That is not true. I am not that good looking. Katsumi, oh really? If that is true, then why are these 2 idiots looking at you like that? She said while pointing to her brother and Shoto. Both of the males, meanwhile, were completely lost in Izumi's figure, having all sorts of thoughts. Katsuki, wow, she is good. Shoto, and here I thought my father's flames were hot. Why does she have to be so appealing? Izumi noticed how they were looking at her and blushed hard. Meanwhile, the boys noticed Izumi had caught them, and they also blushed harder while moving their sights away from her. Katsuki, it's late. Come on, let's go, you idiots, he said while storming off inside the building. Shoto, yeah, we can't make a wrong impression by arriving late, he said while following Katsuki's steps. Katsumi, well, those monsters are right. It is late. Come on, let's go. Izumi and Shota, yes. Izumi, this isn't my first step at being the greatest hero. But then she tripped, but she never fell to the ground. Unknown person, you should be more careful. Sorry for using my quirk on you, but I figured you wouldn't mind. Izumi looked up to see she was floating and a girl with chubby pink cheeks, white skin, big brown eyes, and brown hair, looking at her. Unknown person, my name is Achiko Uraraka. Here, let me help you get back on your feet. She said, she helped Izumi. Izumi, thanks, I am Izumi Yagi, and these are my friends Shota Todoroki and Katsumi Bakugo. Shota, hello? Katsumi, yo? Achiko, hi. Nice to meet you. Are you here for the hero exam? The 3 of them, of course. Achiko, cool. I am also going. But it is running late. Come on, there is no time to waste, she said as she ran to the building. Good luck to you all. The 3 of them followed her, but something was bothering Izumi and Shota. Both of them. She reminds me of Izuku, the 2 thought. But they decided to ignore the thought to be able to concentrate. The written exam was a piece of cake. The 5 of them were sure they passed. But then came the real trial, the practical exam. Izumi and her group were separated into different areas, and Izumi was left alone. They had previously been given instructions by the pro hero present Mike. They would be fighting robots to earn points, and that there would be 4 types of robots: 1-pointer, 2-pointers, 3-pointers, and the 0-pointer, who they were told to avoid. Now she was there waiting for the exam to start. That is when she noticed the girl Izumi had met earlier doing some relaxation methods. Izumi decided to go and help her as well as to thank her. Still, as she was making her way to her, someone stopped her by grazing her shoulder. Unknown person, excuse me. That girl seems to be trying to concentrate. Are you trying to sabotage her efforts? Izumi turned around and saw a tall, well-built, blue-haired boy. Unknown person. If you are here to interfere with other people, then you should leave. Izumi, what? No. I met her earlier and wanted to say thank you to her for helping me. The boy just glared at her, not entirely sure. That is when they saw the doors open. Present mic, start. What, there are no countdowns in real fights. Go, 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 go. That is when all the participants began running to the test area, Izumi doing the same. Izumi. This is it. What you have been training for. Time to do my best. Izumi was running around using one for all at 15% and Electro to its fullest capacity. She was doing great, having destroyed lots of robots and saving a few people in the way. She calculated she must have had at least 90 points, and so decided to rest for the rest of the exam. Meanwhile, at an observation room. Unknown person. This group seems promising, a mouse bear dog thing said. Unknown person. Indeed, said a woman in what seemed to entertain her costume. Unknown person. Yeah, but there are 5 who seem to be the best right now. A hobo-looking man, who looked like his body has had a taste of all toxins known to mankind, said. They were all teachers at UA. After the comment made by the toxin dealer, all teachers paid attention to 2 dual-haired siblings and 2 explosion demons. The one who caught their most attention was a blonde girl who, to them, seemed like this was too easy for her. Unknown person. Who are they? The weird mutation of a creature said. The entertainer pulled out a folder and began to read. Unknown person. The dual-haired ones are the Todoroki twins. They are the children of Endeavor. They have the recommendation of their father, but they decided to do the exam anyway. The explosive twins are the Bakugos. Nothing remarkable to say about them. Meanwhile, the blonde one, Cutie, is Izumi Yagi. I guess we already know who her parents are, she said as all the teachers turned around to see their 2 guests, a future teacher and his wife. Tashinori. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that is my girl. Unknown person. You sure trained her well, the woman said. Tashinori. Thank you, Midnight. Unknown person. Yuta Titan. Inko. Thanks, Principal Nizu. Nizu. But it is time to see how they react to this. Eraserhead, would you do the honors? Eraserhead. With pleasure, he said as he pressed a button. Midnight. The real test starts now. Meanwhile, at the LOV's hideout, a few moments earlier. Izuku. The UA entrance is today. Izuku was bored. He had been doing a few modifications to his arm. He had been able to replicate another of All for One's quirks. This time it was forceful quirk activation. Izuku figured out might be useful at some point. Still, now Izuku had finished and had nothing else to do, but then he remembered. He had hacked the UA servers to see what the exam would be all about a few days earlier. He logged into his computer and entered into a few of the cameras to watch what was happening. He saw his sister and her friends doing the exam. He growled, annoyed just at their sight. He noticed that the exam was reaching its final phase, so he was sure the giant zero-pointer was about to appear. He had been surprised when he had discovered the giant robot. He thought it was probably too much for an exam. After all, something could happen, and a student could get hurt. That has him an idea. Izuku. It would be a shame if it malfunctioned and hurt a certain blonde girl by accident, wouldn't it? Meanwhile, at the exam, the ground shook, and the zero-pointer was released. Still, something was wrong. It started running wild, destroying everything it could. It looked like it was searching for something. The teachers were in a panic. They didn't know what was happening. Izumi was near the zero-pointer, and she noticed how it was moving towards some students. Still, she also saw that trapped between the students and the zero-pointer was Achiko, her foot stuck under the debris of a destroyed building. Izumi, I have to do something, or else she will be crushed. Izumi jumped and landed between Achiko and the robot, and began preparing her most potent attack. Her entire body was overflowing with energy, augmented by One for All. Izumi, it is now or never star cannon. Izumi then released all of that energy in one shot, which pierced through the zero-pointer as if it was paper, and just like that, the zero-pointer was no more. At the observation room, the teachers were celebrating the robot menace had been stopped. Tashinori and Inko couldn't feel more proud. Both of them. That's my girl. Meanwhile, Izuku was surprised by that movement made by his sister. Izuku. Nomu is going to need some energy absorption, and could it be possible for me to replicate energy absorption and release into my arm? Back at the exam, the students had freed Achiko from the debris. Meanwhile, Izumi was just standing there. All the students were staring at her in complete surprise. After all, she had just one-shot that monstrous robot. That is when Recovery Girl, the UA nurse, arrived to help the injured. She wondered where Izumi was. RG, are you alright, sweetie? Izumi, I am fine. Go and check her. As she pointed to Achiko, who was sitting on the ground. She is probably injured. I am just tired, Izumi said. But that is when she collapsed. A few hours later, at the Yagi household, Izumi woke up in her bed. It was already the afternoon. Izumi stood up and wandered around the house, searching for her parents. She then found them sitting at the dining table. Inko, oh sweetie, you are awake. Izumi, hi mom, hi dad, she said with her usual smile. Toshinori, you sure took a long nap, but how couldn't you after one-shotting the zero-pointer? Toshinori said with a smile. Izumi chuckled. Izumi, yeah? Wait a minute, how do you know? Toshinori, well, it is time to tell you a secret. I am going to be teaching at UA starting this year. And so they invited me to take a look at the new batch of young heroes. Izumi, wow, that is so cool. I will be able to see you often then if I get in. Toshinori, about that, the admission letters are often given about a week after the exam, but the principal was so impressed by you that he told me to tell you this. Izumi Yagi, with 90 hero points and 100 rescue points, earned by helping those in need, it is my pleasure to say to you, you are going to be in UA, Class 1A of the Hero course, starting next week. Welcome to your Hero Academia. Izumi was happy, no extremely happy, so much so that she even cried and went to hug her parents. Finally, her dream was coming true. Meanwhile, at the LOV's hideout, Izuku, Sensei, there are some modifications I want to make to Nomu and my arm. This is based on some recently discovered developments that are crucial for our plans. Izumi was really nervous. It was her first day of school. She quickly dressed into her UA uniform, took her stuff, and began to make her way to UA. She stopped by the Todoroki's house and waited for the dual-haired twins to come out. After 5 minutes, they came out, and they looked at Izumi with smiles on their faces. Izumi, ready? Both of them ready. The three of them made their way to UA, while talking between them. But as they were talking, a certain boy was having peculiar thoughts about Izumi. Shoto, she looks pretty in that uniform. Finally, after taking the train, they arrived at UA. They quickly began to search for their class, and after a good 10 minutes of searching, they came. Izumi, Destiny, here I come. Izumi opened the door, but the image she saw was not what she imagined. Katsumi was asleep on her desk. Meanwhile, Katsuki was fighting over with the blue-haired teen who yelled at Izumi in the exam. Unknown person, you shouldn't put your feet up in your desk. It is disrespectful to the upperclassmen who sat in them and to the people who made them. Katsuki, huh? What is wrong with you? You are not my boss. Did the school you want to put a stick up your butt, or were you born with it? Unknown person, so let's start over. I am Tenya Ida from Semi-Private Academy. Katsuki, Semi, huh? So you must think you are better than me. I am. Going to have a fun time crushing you. Tenya, crush me? Are you sure you are in the correct place? That is when they both saw the two girls. Shoto had already left to find a seat, staring at them. That is when Tenya made his way to them. Tenya, hi. I am Tenya Ida from Izumi. Semi, yeah, I heard. She said while she chuckled. I am Izumi Yagi. Shota, I am Shota Todoroki. Tenya, nice to meet you both. Yagi-san, I am sorry to have misjudged you during the exam. I must have known you only had the best intentions. Izumi, don't sweat it. Everyone makes mistakes, she said with her smile. Everyone couldn't help but think the same when they saw Izumi's smile. Everyone else, so bright. That is when Izumi heard a voice she recognized. Unknown person, you are the girl who saved me and one-shot that robot. Izumi, right? That is when Izumi turned around and saw Achiko. Izumi, yes, and you are Achiko, right? It was nothing, and I also wanted to thank you for helping me first. Unknown person, if you are here to make friends, you better leave. A lifeless voice spooked everyone in the classroom, including Katsumi, who apparently wasn't completely asleep. Izumi, Shota, Tenya, and Achiko turned around to see a yellow caterpillar with a man inside. The four of them. Something has arrived. Unknown person, it took you 8 seconds to be silent. Rational students would know time is of the essence. The caterpillar stood up, and from it came out a man who looked like he needed some sleep. Unknown person, I am Shoyuta Aizawa, and I will be your homeroom teacher this year. I know this is sudden, but take one of this and meet me at the training fields, he said while holding a PE uniform. The students did as they were told and went to change into the new uniforms. When they were done, they all met back with Aizawa in the training ground. Ochiko, a quirk assessment test. But what will happen to orientation? Aizawa, if you want to be a hero, you can't lose time in pointless ceremonies. Izumi Yagi, he said as he pointed to her. You were first in the entrance exam. Come here. Catch the ball, step in the circle, and I want you to throw it as hard as you can. You can use your quirk and do anything you want as long as you don't step out of the circle. Izumi did as she told and began to prepare to throw the ball. Izumi, maybe I should stick with one for all. For now, I don't want to destroy the ball by accident. She charged one for all to 15% and threw the ball as hard as she could, releasing a shockwave and creating some winds from air pressure. When the ball landed, Aizawa took a look at a device he had in his hand and showed it to the rest of the class. Everyone, 2,000 meters. Unknown person. Now that is a hero score, said a boy with red hair and sharp teeth. Unknown person. This is going to be so fun to use our quirks as much as we want, said a pink-skinned girl. Aizawa, so you think this is fun? Let's do something. The one who gets the lowest score will be expelled. How funny is that to you? Everyone, HUH. Unknown person, you can't do that, said a boy with long hair and weird elbows. Aizawa, one of the good things about UA is that we the teachers have the freedom to teach our classes the way we see best. So yes, I can. So come on, you better give it your all. Plus ultra? And so the tests began. At one moment, All Might came to watch as he was interested in seeing his daughter progress. Needless to say, Izumi breezed through all the tests just by using 15% of one for all. But now it was her time to throw the ball again as Aizawa had requested it. She was about to throw it, but suddenly she couldn't feel her quirk and the ball flew for just over 100 meters. Izumi, what happened? She then turned to Aizawa, who had his eyes glowing red, and his hair was floating. He then blinked and went back to normal. Izumi then felt one for all again. Aizawa, I erased your quirk. I noticed you were not using your full strength. If you think you can get away with it, you are wrong. Come here, show me the power you used to blow up the zero-pointer. Izumi, a hero who can erase quirks. I think I heard Izuku mumbling about someone like that. You are Eraserhead, the underground hero, aren't you? Aizawa, you sure are bright, but come on, we don't have all day. Izumi picked the ball and went back to the circle. She began charging 15% of one for all and Electro to its fullest. Izumi, come on, give it your all. Izumi threw the ball, in the process creating a giant shockwave and winds that threw everyone back. Then Aizawa grabbed his device, and needless to say, he was surprised. Shota, how much was that, sensei? Aizawa, see for yourself, he said as he showed them the device. Everyone, 30 kilometers. Some couldn't believe it, not even her friends. Just how powerful is she? Aizawa then proceeded to show the scoreboard to the class. 1. Izumi Yagi. 2. Shoto Todoroki. 3. Momo Yaoyorozu. 4. Shota Todoroki. 5. Katsuki Bakugo. 6. Katsumi Bakugo. 22. Minoru Mineta. Everyone was happy they were not going to be expelled, except for one purple midget who was throwing a tantrum. Aizawa, by the way, I am not going to expel anyone. It was a rational deception to make it give your all. Everyone was surprised except for Momo, Shoto, and Katsuki. After that, classes went on as usual, and just like that the first day was over. The second day was uneventful until the afternoon when they had their heroics class. They were all patiently waiting until they heard a booming voice. All Might. Haha, I am here. Walking through the door like a normal person. Izumi was a bit embarrassed at the antics of her father. Meanwhile, the rest of the class was all excited to see All Might. All Might. Now kids, think of this class as Heroing 101, and today we will be doing combat training, he said as he pulled out a card. But first of all, one of the most important aspects of a hero is their costume. He pressed a button, and a bunch of suitcases came out of the wall. Here are your costumes. Grab yours. Changed and meet me at Training Ground Gamma. The students did as they were told and quickly changed. Now they were all reunited around All Might, talking between them about their costumes. That is when All Might caught everyone's attention. All Might, where is young Izumi? Shota, she had some troubles with her costume, but she is coming. Izumi, don't worry, I am here. All the boys were staring at her as her costume really showed her figure as it was really tight. All Might coughed to get their attention. All Might, well, now that everyone is here we can start. They were divided into 8 pairs and 2 trios, one group against another, a hero team and a villain team. Izumi was paired with Achiko against Katsuki and Tenya. Needless to say, Izumi overwhelmed them pretty quickly, giving them the win. The rest of the match was not that eventful, except when Shoto froze the whole building. At the end of the day, everyone was praising Izumi for her power. She met some of her classmates such as Ejiro Kirishima, Mina Ashido, Fumikage Tokoyami, and Tsuyu Ajui. Like that, her second day of UA was over. The next 2 weeks were uneventful. She got to meet her classmates more, and she was even voted as class representative. The only thing worth mentioning was when some reporters entered school grounds to try to get an interview with All Might, and the school gate was turned into dust. Now it was the last day of the second week when Aizawa announced something. Aizawa, today, we will do rescue training. It will be supervised by me, All Might. And another teacher, you can wear your hero costume or your PE uniform. Meet me at the training grounds in 15 minutes. Izumi was excited. Finally, she would learn how to help and rescue people. She was looking forward to this, and after all, what could possibly go wrong? At the LOV's hideout. AFO, is everything ready? Kirojiri, the thugs we recruited are in position ready to be transported. Nana, and you Izuku? Izuku, I have already hacked into their system. Their communications are jammed, and the security is down. The strategy to divide the students is done, and I have already gone through it with Kirojiri. The Nomu is also ready, but I would suggest waiting until I can fix Nomu's brain as it is only able to follow orders. Nana, no? This is a magnificent opportunity as All Might will be apart from his hero friends. We can't miss this chance. Izuku, farewell then. Nana, let's start this show. AFO, good luck, my apprentices. So, this was the end of part 1 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.